Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for another amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I am excited to be here with you for today's episode of the African Father in America podcast. This is episode number 273, and I'm really excited that it's Wednesday. And our special guest today is Chioma Sheri, who has been an amazing supporter and contributor to this work that we've been doing here diligently for over 2 years, really. And I also want to welcome Ty, and I want to welcome John, and I want to encourage you to tap the link at the top of the room if you want to join us on YouTube. We are also live streaming on YouTube right now, and we do that Monday to Friday when we gather here for the African Father in America podcast. Chioma, how are you doing today?
Hey Simon, I am okay. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Get closer to your mic so that we see if it sounds a little better.
Can you hear me now?
It's
better?
Great. Yeah, it's much better now.
Okay, great.
It's much better now.
I'm doing good, Simon. A little tired, but I'm happy to be here as always. And just always grateful for this space. So I'm just excited to see what happens and hear everyone's interpretations, because this particular proverb was really interesting and brought up a lot of things for me. So we shall see how today goes.
That's beautiful. I agree. I'm really excited for today's proverb as well. I want to...
Well, Grand Rising, everybody. Simon, you sound really, I don't know, your voice, you sound uplifted today, very uplifted. Hi, Chioma, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising
Hi,
to
Simply E. Grand Rising.
Yeah, I'm definitely uplifted, and I slept a little longer today, and also I'm just excited for today. And this proverb, the proverb today is about movement. It says that move your neck according to the music. Movement and music, those two things excite me a lot. And I'm just excited for us to dive deep into it. So I'll go straight into what our 3 nuggets of wisdom are. I'll go straight into that in just a second. But I want to let you know that Wednesdays are poetry days here in the African Father in America podcast, and we always have Chioma as our special guest, and we are backed here by Simply E, and I truly appreciate both of you, Chioma and Simply E. So the structure of today's show is going to be, you are going to learn the nuggets quickly about this proverb, and then after that we are going to go into Chioma's own interpretation of this proverb, and then after we go into Chioma's interpretation of this proverb, I actually want us to just engage in a conversation together with Simply E. There's an atonement holiday that Simply E you told me about last week, and I just wanted you to take space and speak to it a little bit during the show, so that we just learn a little bit about it and how it was for you. But then I want us to also come back to Chioma and listen to a poem. Chioma takes these proverbs and turns them into beautiful African beautiful poems that she writes inspired by this proverb. So let me jump straight into our nuggets, the 3 nuggets of wisdom that we want you to note down based on this proverb from Ethiopia. Number 1 is that don't be afraid to try new things. And number 2, be flexible and open-minded. And then number 3, follow the beat of your own drum. I hope you noted those down, and I won't take much of your time today. I want to go straight into listening to what Chioma has to say about this proverb. And then before I continue on, though, Simply E does a really good job of just letting you all who are listening and watching learn how you can really engage with the conversation today. So Simply E, do you want to take the mic for a moment?
Absolutely, absolutely. The energy is so high in this space, all the time, and specifically today. I don't know what's going on, but it's a great feeling in here. One of the things that I like to say is that whenever you're having a good experience, whenever you like something, you love it, those who are around you, who you know who would love the same experience or could gain something or could actually get into a different space or be uplifted, you want to bring those people along with you, because all it does is it increases the energy and it makes things very good and familiar to those around you as well. And so if you have anybody that you know that would love the space, definitely invite them in. If you're on Clubhouse and you want to come up and say something, just raise your hand. You can come up and have a little say. And then also, if you're on YouTube and you're comfortable in that space, subscribe. So then that way you can make sure you're getting all the goodies, the updates. You're able to see the faces of Simon and Shioma when they're on there podcasting. I think is really, really awesome. And then again, if you're comfortable in the Instagram space, the African Proverbs are actually posted there early. So you can get a head start and know what's coming, and be able to give insight and input right there on the post itself. You can also tweet it out. So no matter where you're comfortable on social media, you can do some things. And not only that, but you can also voice some things in Clubhouse. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, and if you're part of the family already here, Grand Rising.
Excellent. Thank you again, Simply E. And to those who are meeting Chioma for the very first time, Chioma is really, really gifted as a poet, as a writer, and as a creator. And we've been lucky to enjoy her presence here consistently. And so, Chioma, I want you to share anything in regards to your intro that I haven't shared, and then share with us your own interpretation of today's proverb from Ethiopia. Thank you so much.
Hey, Simon, I feel like you do pretty well. I have not too much to add. So I'll hop right into my interpretation. So like I said earlier, like a lot came up for me with this proverb, and even when you said this proverb is about movement, like, ooh, that hit me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I gotta go back again. But yeah, a lot of things came up for me. So when I first saw it, I was like, okay, interesting. I was like, this a proverb? um, but some things that sort of just like came just like at the top of my head, like let the music guide you, move to the rhythm of what's playing, live according to sort of like the rhythm of the world or the space that you're in, following the beat of what's playing. And then I like really sat with it, and like some of the things that came up for me were questions like, who is like moving your neck according to the music for? Is it for the people who's watching? And I started to think about people who sometimes dance off beat. And they're not always moving according to the music, but they may be enjoying themselves, but are the people watching enjoying it? And then I looked at the proverb again and move your neck according to the music. I focused on like neck, and I remembered like that the proverb is from Ethiopia. And so Ethiopia, they have they dance a lot. Ethiopians, they dance a lot with their neck. Like I remember that. And so I started to do some research on it and watching some YouTube videos. And some of the things I came across were like and I apologize if I'm pronouncing these wrong. If anybody in the room is Ethiopian or know how to properly pronounce these, please help me out. But the Showa Oromo dance came up, and if you Google that, you'll see like, whoa. You'll see some neck dancing that will make you think you're gonna break your neck. And then there's also the Esquista dance, which to me it seems like a bit lighter of neck movement, but still there's a lot of like, neck and shoulder movement in that dance as well. And so when I came back to the proverb, and considering, that context, I was like, hey, move your neck according to the music. And also when I was watching the video, I was just like, this dance is just beautiful, but it also looked really difficult. So maybe this is sort of like a guide of like how to, sort of like a guide to be safe and for protection. Hey, because like what if moving your neck like not according to the music make you break your neck? So I was just like thinking of so many different things for this proverb, and I think it just brought up like a lot of questions and just things for me to like sit and meditate on. Like I don't think I have like a definite like, okay, this is my interpretation. It just really brought up questions for me, and you'll see that in the poem that I share later. But yes, that is my interpretation, or questions rather, or things that I thought about for this proverb. I'm complete.
Thank you, Chioma. I actually would love to ask you to go to the poem, right after this, and then we'll come back to Simply E with the conversation about Yom Kippur. I just want to learn more about it, and how Simply E got into observing it, and how this year's particularly was. But Chioma, just give me a second to welcome some of our incredible friends who are here. I see that Andrew is a brother that I have a lot of love and respect for. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And I also see Roger and Christy and Tracy. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm just so happy that you're here. And of course, my teammate Lavender and brother, and everyone who is listening and also watching. I see that we have a few people on YouTube. Please type your city and what this proverb means to you over there on YouTube as we continue the conversation. And again, Wednesdays we have the pleasure of hosting Chioma, and we learn so much, especially when it comes to poetry, and how to be creative like her and take these proverbs and not just interpret them but create poems out of them. So that's what we are going to enjoy in just a moment. If you haven't shared the link to this room yet, this is a good time for you to do that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is a good time for you to do that. Thank you so much, Chioma. I'll bring it back to you.
All right, thank you, Simon. So I'll jump right into the poem. Let me share the proverb one more time. So the proverb of today, move your neck according to the music, and it's an Ethiopian proverb. And the poem. Is the music here to save me, here to guide me? I can hear the music, but I find it hard to dance to. Not I won't, but I can't. Not I can't, but I won't. If I get lost in the music, how am I supposed to find myself? Well, maybe I was meant to find you. Maybe dancing to the music brings us closer to each other, closer to ourselves. I'm complete. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Simply E, I want you to, just share your comments, and also after that we will come to Yom Kippur discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that is beautiful. Not only that, but it's heartwarming. And I would dare to say romantic. I think your interpretation is very beautiful. That is, I I could actually see that. So that was some great storytelling. Because I could
Thank
actually
you.
see that scene unveiling in front of me, and very flavorful. Thank you for that unique way of looking at that proverb, Chioma.
Thank you, Simply. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that you said you could actually like see it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful the way you also, just responded to Chioma's poem, and I can't add anything to that. But I want to welcome everyone, especially Kay Benjamin, who is joining us on YouTube. I thank you so much for being here. Kay is commenting over there and saying that her first thought is that the neck connects the head to the body, so its relationship to the music is crucial. So I love what she had to say there as well. And Chioma, when you spoke about the Ethiopian dance and the culture, I was also just imagining and seeing. I have friends who are Ethiopians. They've tried to teach me that dance, but I can't keep up with their shoulder and neck movement. It's just not easy to do. It's easy to enjoy and watch, but very, very hard to actually learn and do it. So I appreciate you so much, Chioma.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah, when I was like researching, some folks were saying that it's like um one of the hardest like dances to actually get. Just because of that, like the neck and shoulder movement. And I just really appreciate what Kay shared. Like I was like, oh, it's crucial. Like the movement you do in your neck is indeed crucial, you know? So yeah, I look at it, I'm just like, wow. I don't even know where I would begin to learn that dance, because if you look at it, I definitely encourage y'all to watch. It really is beautiful. But it's also like, wow, that seems very difficult also to do.
The
Oh,
only thing I saw that made me be like, oh, maybe I could do it is that I noticed that the chest is usually upward on the beat, and that was just what I picked up from. But I was like, I don't know if I could do it without getting a headache because I'm not the best dancer. But I love seeing that dance for sure.
fantastic. So on October 4th at sundown, for 24 hours into October 5th, there was a celebration and an observation, and the day is known as Yom Kippur. And I didn't know about it, honestly. I just learned about it this year, so I didn't observe it. And I wanted to learn from you, Simply E, because you sent me a message about it, and I felt that it's something we need to talk about, and just learn a little more about it from you, who has been practicing and observing it. Speak to it a little bit and also share with us how this year's specifically was, but also why it's really important to you.
Thank you for that space, for the space to be able to speak about this. It's very near and dear to me. Yom Kippur, and some people call it the Day of Atonement. It's a time during the year. If you speak in terms of holy days, or if you speak in terms of Sabbath, it is the highest holy day and the highest Sabbath. So it's a very sacred time of the year. And what you're doing during that time is that you're making sure that you're atoning for any wrongdoings throughout the year or throughout time. So if you've never done it before, you just get to thinking backwards and think about what you might need to atone for. And you can look at this in different ways. You can say, you know what? I did this to my brother or sister. I did this to this thing at work. It wasn't quite righteous. I wronged this person. I didn't meet my expectations. I did this thing to myself that wasn't great, and I've had a history, a track record, and I need to break it. So it can manifest itself in different ways. But what you do is you take that day off. That is the one day that you do no work. You don't do any work. You take off and you say, I'm going to meditate on this thing. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm going to write in my journal. I'm going to reflect, and I'm going to get this right. And so you take an opportunity to atone, whether that means it's an easy situation or a hard one. You pick up the phone if there's someone that you wronged and you say, I apologize. And sometimes these things manifest their way into doing a little bit more than just verbiage. Sometimes you have to actually activate the thing by doing something and moving in the direction of. And on some occasions, you're unable to make connections or contact a person, or you two may not see eye to eye during that reconciliation period. And then sometimes you have to just take it to your higher power or the most high and say, this is something that I've done. I apologize for it. This person is not willing to accept. Can you help us? And things like that. So however it is that you internalize additional help in your spiritual realm, or the way that you practice or belief system, you would want to invoke that at that time. But it's a very cleansing time, and it allows you, because you're not working, and if you take that time off, it allows you to really go deep and reflect. And you don't just leave it there, right? You're taking and inheriting whatever you've learned from that experience or whatever you've atoned for. And you're saying, I really don't want to do this anymore. I made a mistake. You don't just go into the next thing like making that mistake over and over. Sometimes we do make mistakes more than once, but this is an opportunity for you to say, I'm going to actually look at this thing to get this thing right within, so that I'm not carrying it around every year doing the same thing over and over. So that is the gist of it. And during this time, so of course I had on linen, to just, as from a purification point. I fasted this time. And then I also allowed, an opportunity for particular people to maybe give me a call, right? Because I'm allowing them also to move in the way that they need to. Not necessarily want to answer that call, but wanting to allow that person to become free. So that's if you have any questions to me about it, I think I've spoken enough, right? About, but I can definitely explain further if needed.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about it. Then we'll open the floor for our friends and audience members who are on the stage. Yom means soft in my mother tongue, Luo. My mother tongue is Luo. And then Kippur means don't dig it, So it's soft, don't dig it. That's what this means in my mother tongue. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. That is really beautiful.
It is.
Because I feel like from hearing what you said, Simply E, and just thinking of like the act of reconciling and, saying sorry, it is this thing that like you may not want to do or feel some way about, but it's also really soft. So I think that's beautiful.
And it's a reminder, right? So we're not saying just walk around the whole year holding apologies, but it is a reminder to say, if you haven't gotten something right, here's an opportunity to get it right.
Yeah, and also when I think about things, when I read something, I think about it in my mother tongue. The first way I interpret anything is in my mother tongue. And when I saw this Yom Kippur, I was like, what is it that is soft that you should not dig? And when you say that this is a day that people should not work, you should not make somebody do any work, I felt that, this is a day that everything is already soft. There's no need for digging, because farming and plowing the land is very, very important for people's sustainability. If there is a day when you're being told that the land is already soft, you don't need to dig it, that's a great day. That's a day of rest. And really, it made me feel like, wow, this day has some meaning. I need to have a conversation about it. So that was part of my motivation for bringing this into our midst today.
Simon, can I add something funny?
Sure, go ahead.
So when you said you think of it in your mother tongue, I was like, oh, I'm thinking of it in my mother tongue too. When I hear don't dig it, like I don't like it. So it's just really interesting how how we sort of interpret things in our tongue. So you were actually thinking of like digging, and I'm thinking of like, I don't dig this, or like I don't like this.
And I'll point out this last thing, Simon, and then I'll be done. It just came to mind. The feeling that you get behind something like this, an experience like this, it really lightens your load, right? So you feel lightened, like you start floating. It's like you got all this off your back because, believe it or not, when you have things that are open, that need to be reconciled and you're carrying that around, it makes more of an impact on you than you could possibly believe. And it's only until you get in that space and start letting things go and fall off of you that you know how much it was weighing you down.
That's true. That's true. I love that. For our friends who are just joining us, thank you for taking your time to be here with us for the Daily African Proverbs. This is being recorded for the African Father in America podcast. We are live on YouTube. We are also live here on Clubhouse. And in about an hour and a half, this conversation is going to be on Spotify and Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and all the places where you can get your podcasts from. One of the ways that I love enjoying this conversation daily is actually listening to it on my way from dropping my daughters to school. I always love listening to how the conversation went so that I can improve every day. And I'm just beginning to relax more. I'm beginning to really enjoy what we're doing here because every episode is different and every proverb is different and it has a purpose. We are here for a very, very specific purpose. So with those few comments, I just want to welcome Brother Earth to share a few words with us in regards to this proverb from Ethiopia. Share with us what it means to you when you hear "move your neck according to the music." Thank you so much. I think Brother Earth might be far away from her microphone, so we are going to go on to Lavender. Lavender, thank you again for all your help, and Stella also thank you for all your help. Lavender, how are you? Where are you joining us from? And what does today's proverb mean to you? I actually saw you, post your meaning on YouTube, Lavender, but I want you to speak to it too.
Hi Simon. Hi everyone. Chioma, thank you so much. We connect in the um, background. I appreciate all your support and dedication to.
Lavender, your volume keeps going far, far away. I wonder if your microphone is far from you.
How is it now, Simon?
It's much better.
Oh, thank you. Simply E, thank you so much for the continued support. Brother Art, Stella, you're amazing. This is Lavender. I'm speaking from Seattle, Washington. I just made a comment. I'll read out my comment on YouTube. I said, energies come to mind when I think about this proverb. You attract and repel what suits you. And I'll listen, but that's what comes to mind. Moving your neck according to the music, just like any type of music, when the tune is right, you feel like you're attracted to it. It suits you, or it works for you. It works for your rhythm. But when it doesn't work, you feel like you don't want to listen to it anymore. You jump to the next song on the playlist. Thank you, Simon, for the opportunity. This is Lavender, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, Lavender. Yeah, as you're speaking, I was just reminded of my daughters. Sometime in the morning, they wake up and they were probably talking in their room about the song they want to listen to. So they wake up and they run straight to Alexa, and they turn on a very fast beat. In the morning, it's so early, maybe it's even funk, just something they were thinking of, and they just start dancing immediately, and it's like 6:30 or 7. You don't want to stop them, but then they ask you, join us, and then the two of them are holding you on both sides. They're like, dance with us, so you're like, wow, what kind of spirit is in this house right now? And it's just incredible what music can do to people. Music is super powerful, and when you can move with it, when you can let go, like one of our nuggets, one of our takeaway nuggets, the second one was saying that, be flexible and open-minded. So sometime I just find myself, also breaking into the dance with them so early in the morning, so that I can be in that level that they're in. But really moving my body anytime is something that I always want to do. So, I just got reminded about that when you spoke, Lavender. But Stella is really, really another incredible team member of ours here at One Vibe Media and One Vibe Africa. And also, Stella, you spent a lot of time in the villages in Africa growing up, similar to me, where I was taking this this annual celebration that Simply E just went through. It's known as Yom Kippur, and I was thinking about it in Luo, and I also knew that you might have something to say about it, because kalo yom to ungetiende puro donge, Stella.
Hey Simon, hello everyone.
Hi, Stella. Are you on the move?
Hello.
Hi, Stella. I can hear you very well. Are you traveling?
No, it's raining cats and dogs.
Oh, I see. That's a good sign. Rain is a sign of good luck,
Yeah, it's a good sign. It was too sunny a few moments ago.
Yeah. We can't hear you very well, but I just want you to then share your interpretation of the proverb if you have a minute. Can you do that now, or you want to just listen in for today?
Yeah, I had a good story about this proverb, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you good enough, so you can just share the story. We'd appreciate it.
Okay. The proverb reminds me of one day when we went to dance in the night with friends and a cousin of mine. And my cousin was dancing off the beat. She was off the beat. Everyone could see she was different, but she kept dancing and she kept enjoying herself until the end of the show. And she didn't care what anyone said. And as much as we laughed at her, she kept dancing. And we ended up loving it. So I want to agree with the proverb that keep doing you, just keep moving. Yeah, thank you. It's noisy.
I love it. For me, sometimes I just love the noisy backgrounds because it's authentic. This life is full of noise, full of silence, full of chaos, and we want all of it. So I just love the realness of the background noises that we hear from each person. So I don't mind it at all. And I miss the rains in Kisumu, where Stella is. When it rains there, it rains cats and dogs, just like it's Stella is saying, but it rains for 30 minutes and it's over. But in Seattle, where I live, it can rain for 3 days straight, but it's just little rain, and people get depressed by that kind of rain. So I prefer the kind of rain where you are. But I also just want to come back to our audience members on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. I just deeply appreciate your support. The growth on the channel has been amazing. These days, for the last 2 weeks, not these days, but for the last 2 weeks, I've been, editing and sharing some of the content of my last trip in Kenya. And I would love for you to check them out. They're short videos, 3-7-minute videos. I would love for you to check them out. And this is a way for me to start planting the seed for the planning that we are doing for our next trip to Kenya with One Vibe Experience. So if you want to learn more and be prepared for it, connect with Lavender as soon as possible. We are now at Brother Earth. I just want to check with you, Brother Earth. Are you available to share your contributions?
Peace and love, family. It's Brother Earth. Grand rising to you all. You know, always honors to the family for sharing the wisdom, beautiful poetry, and insight. And when I look at the poem, Simon, what it makes me think of is move your neck according to the music. And and to a degree, I would say, just try to keep things in harmony. When or wherever you go or out, don't necessarily try to be disruptive. I would say, just kind of find you a groove and go with the flow, and not necessarily, like I say, be disruptive. But I'll park my plane right there. Peace and love, fam.
Peace and love to you. Yeah, I love that. Keep moving, keep grooving, but, be in rhythm. Thank you so much for your contributions. And thank you, Jay, for joining us. Thank you, Sarah K, for also joining us. We are here for the Daily African Proverbs. And our special guest today was Chioma Sheri. And also we have Simply E, who is also joining us here every Wednesday. Both Simply E and Chioma are incredible poets, and we just enjoyed our time today. Over the last 37 minutes, we've just been enjoying ourselves, really. So for me, I just want to focus on enjoyment these days. Anything that brings a little more joy and smiles and laughter is what I want to live for, for the rest of my life, So if you are all about that, please come close to me. That's what I want. And I also love wrapping up the Daily African Proverbs earlier, because it's actually good. It's good for everyone, but it's also good for the algorithm. When we have 30 minutes, at most 40-minute episodes, it's much better. Because people can listen to the whole episode, but I don't mind the 1-hour ones either. So I just want to check with Jay. Jay, feel free to join us on stage if you're able to. And I want to come back to you, Chioma. You're one of the people that I have a lot of love and respect for, especially because when I ask you how you want us to support you, you always ask us to support your friend, and today is your show, really. I want you to think about, what is it that I didn't ask you that you want to speak about, and is there a way that we can support the work that you're doing, especially this week?
Hey, Simon. Well, first, I might be wrong on this, but I don't think I heard Simply E's interpretation, and I always love hearing her interpretation. So if she has one, I would love to hear it.
For sure.
Oh, sure. So move your neck according to the music. And I think it's just like staying within the vibe, right? Music changes, right? And so we have to be able to move along with what's going on at the time, right? So we don't want to be doing a TikTok dance to something that's very tribal, right? We don't want to be doing, taking this different dance that comes from one culture and taking it to another culture if it's not the right time to do so, because it could be offensive. And we don't want to be taking a very delicate dance to something that could be, that could destroy that dance, right? To some music that could destroy it. So I think we just have to move and be aware. And I think moving your neck according to the music can be a very beautiful thing, because it allows us to actually be in the moment of what's going on. So that's my interpretation.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Chioma, for catching this, for ensuring that we also create space for Simply E to contribute her interpretation. I'm sorry, I almost skipped you, Simply E. Um, Go ahead.
Worries. I think Chioma just took our breath away. So yeah, no worries at all.
Beautiful. Let's give Jay space to also contribute before we come back to you, Chioma, to wrap our session up for today. Jay, how are you doing? And what is your, interpretation of today's proverb? Or what are some comments that you have in regards to what you've heard so far during today's episode of the African Father in America podcast?
Good morning, everyone coming out of Seattle. I had to think about this. So, as I was listening to other people share and had to keep repeating it over and over again to get a sense, I guess, getting that rhythm, get a sense of what would that proverb really mean to me? How could it apply in my life? And what came to mind was when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So you have to be so respectful when you go to, I don't know if someone has already said this in terms of their understanding of the proverb, but when you go to another country, you really need to go prepared. Do your homework. Understand what's expected in terms of how you act, how you behave, even how you approach someone, whether or not it's okay to give an individual a hug. So, or if it's okay if you're in an environment where they're dressed in their regalia, whether it's okay to take a picture or to request to take a picture. So it's just that, so that rhythm of that culture, you're not bringing something in that's rude and disrespectful with a condescending or dominant attitude and behavior, but you're respecting what they're doing and how they're living, including the food, um, and going to the music, the music and how they're living their lives, and allowing yourself to grow and to mature and to be educated and to be more understanding of another culture. So I think that's kind of how I see that proverb. Thank you so much, and blessings to everyone.
Blessings to you as well, Jay. I appreciate you, rising up so early and being a part of this conversation today. Chioma, let's hear from you as you wind this conversation down.
Thank you. And thank you, Jay, for that share. I guess I'll just close it up with sharing what everyone else shared, sharing the poem and how you all can support me. So Simon's 3 nuggets. Don't be afraid to try new things. Be flexible and open-minded, and follow the beat of your own drum. Kay, joining in on YouTube, said, the neck connects the head and body, so its relationship to music is crucial. Lavender said, you attract and propel what suits you. Stella said, keep doing you, and that kind of this hit me, Stella. Keep doing you and keep moving. Brother Earth said, try to keep things in harmony. Find your groove and go with the flow. Simply E shared, staying within the vibe. Music changes, so being able to move in what's going at the time, it allows us to be in the moment. Jay shared, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, reminding us to just be respectful of other cultures, how they're doing and how they're living, and just allowing ourselves to grow while doing that. I will read the poem, and then I'll let y'all know how y'all can support me. Alrighty, so the poem. Is the music here to save me, here to guide me? I can hear the music, but I find it hard to dance to. Not I won't, but I can't. Not I can't, but I won't. If I get lost in the music, how am I supposed to find myself? Well, maybe I was meant to find you. Maybe dancing to the music brings us closer to each other, closer to ourselves. And how y'all can support me? As usual, just supporting this space, and currently just supporting my friend's fundraiser. Right now, I'm doing a sort of donate 50 or more, and you can get a poem, personalized poem, whatever topic. If you donate 50 or more to my friend's fundraiser, you can find it in my Linktree link in my IG. So my IG is chioma.cherie. So that's CHIOMA.cherie, SHERI. So that's how y'all can support me right now. Thank y'all for y'all shares. Like it really like this proverb is still sitting with me, and y'all shares is giving me just a lot to sit with. So I'm just really grateful. And thank you, Simon. I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chioma. And thank you, Simply E, for taking the time. And really, thank you, Stella and Lavender, for all the hard work that ensures that the Daily African Proverbs and the African Father in America podcast happens consistently. And, to all our amazing viewers and listeners, thank you so much for the love and support. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. East African Time. Have a nice day. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.